Well, Amanda, thanks so much for taking some time to hang with us today. It's great to be with you.
I love that, hanging with us. Yeah, we're hanging. It's
Yeah, of
good.
course. So tell me about your story of awakening to mindfulness, spirituality, consciousness. Give us a little bit of your history of how that kind of came into being in your life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that question. It's quite a journey. And, everyone has their journey, right? Their own story. But, I was in corporate, working in corporate 20 years, in sales and marketing. I was VP of sales and marketing for a New York publishing firm. And, it was 1998, January of 1998. And they wanted to move me to New York out of our satellite office. And literally, my soul got me fired. It took over. And as I was having a meeting with my general manager, and I said things that definitely get you fired, right? Like, you're not utilizing my skills, my expertise, you're undermining me, you're treating me like a puppet, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So it was quite the thing. And that was at 11 o'clock in the morning. And by 2 o'clock, I was called into the CFO's office and fired.
Oh my goodness.
And when that happened, there was this surge of energy that was amazing, and I couldn't stop what wanted to come out. And there was a part of me from the egoic sense, right, that said, "Oh, you just nailed your coffin. You're going to get fired." And there was a part of me that was so relieved, even when I walked out of the CFO's office, I was so relieved, right? Now, the cool thing was I was already on a journey of learning about energetic healing, because back then I was super codependent. I had major abandonment, rejection issues. I did everything you should do. It was so much conditioning and programming. I didn't know who I was. So even when I got fired, part of my journey was to discover me as a person, and also discover what I was here to do. And so I even kind of took a year hiatus, and I went to a healer every single week, worked with a healer every single week, was going to workshops, anything that I could do to help me feel better. Because, yes, I achieved all the success. I had a 6-figure job. I had a custom built home. But I was not happy. In fact, I look better now than I did back then at 40 years old, because I was so dead inside, right? And so I was back on my spiritual path. I was doing the energetic healing, really learning what that was about, and then how it could help me redesign my life and really connect to me, connect to spirit, and connect to what I was here to do, what my next steps were.
Did you grow up with some sort of faith or spirituality, or was that kind of new for you in adulthood?
No. I grew up, we went to church every single Sunday. I was part of every, group within, choir, the teenage groups. And I was even a junior deaconess within my church. I grew up Presbyterian. But at the tail end of it, what happened for me, and my Sunday school teachers did not like me because I would question them. I'm like, if we're eternal beings, then why are you saying we're dying and either going to heaven or hell and we're not coming back? We're eternal beings. Why wouldn't we come back? So I knew something was wrong in that. And then I was also not happy with continually being told I was a sinner, that I was doing things wrong, that God didn't like me, And because I didn't believe that, I'm like, no, God is a loving being. He accepts all. And even if he doesn't necessarily agree with what you're doing and sees a better way for you, he's still going to accept you. He's still going to love you. So that's where I got away from the church or the dogma, but totally still involved in spirituality. And, I kind of got lost there in my 20s and even early 30s. In fact, I got married when I was 30. And within 4 months, my ex and I were in counseling because we were just at each other. And it was because of the codependency and all the abandonment issues and so on. But the good news was we had chosen a metaphysical psychotherapist. So she brought spirituality back in my life. In fact, the very first appointment I had with her, she asked me, do you believe in God? Yes. Do you pray? When it's bad, only when it's bad. Do you meditate? No. But when she asked that question about prayer, and that you only pray when it's bad. And she asked me, are you praying now? And I'm like, oh, no. So I was so disconnected to myself and to spirituality. And she got me back on the path. And I was so grateful because that was at 30. And it really opened up the doorways to these other things that occurred. And as I went into my late 30s, that's when I started into energetic healing, because I could understand my codependency from an intellectual standpoint. In fact, when I read Melody Beattie's book, Codependent No More, I just cried through it because I'm just like, oh my God, how am I ever going to get out of this? Like, how am I ever going to heal? But when I discovered energetic healing, that's when it started shifting, because now I was healing at an energetic level, at a cellular level. And it wasn't just an intellectual thing. It was changing my vibrations. It was changing my cellular body, my energy fields, my chakras. And that's what made the difference.
All right. So we're in the late 90s. Your life's been transformed. You start diving deep into energy work and healing and transformation and spirituality, and something happens. Like something comes into your life. And this is what you now call the Diamond Co-Creative System. So
Correct.
This is a big part of your work. Talk to us about what happened. Like bring it into our forefront of our minds here.
Beautiful. Thank you. It was, so in 2000 and 2001, I was, again, for 2-3 years, I was intensely learning about energetic heal, getting back on the spiritual path and going deep and learning even my clairgifts. I realized I was claircognizant. I'm a clairaudience. I would hear things and I would start channeling in information. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? But I was around people that understood this and had introduced me into this. So what started happening was who I was started unfolding, because I had been clearing out the muck, right? And so I was starting a new business. I thought I would be, because I came from a cooperative marketing background, I thought I was going to help other healers, other teachers get out there and market themselves. And because I realized they really don't know how to do that, right? And they're great gifts, but then they weren't reaching the people that they wanted to reach. So I started this business called the Marketing Source, and I had a logo and all of that. But I wanted something more, or I was looking for a logo. But what channeled in was what we now call the Diamond Energy Codes, and called the Diamond Co-Creative System. So this channeled in 2 days before I was to go on a trip to Bimini, a Bahama out island, which is where the ancient lands of Atlantis, or part of it, is. And I was told to take these symbols, I called them symbols back then, on my trip. Don't show them to anyone until a ceremony is done with them, and to allow for these codes, or the symbols, I call them, to be activated. And also, what I learned later, it was also to protect them so that they could not be altered in any way to be used for ill will or to be manipulated or so on. And serendipity, right? On the trip is a illustrator from Disney. And she ends up being part of this ceremony. And when she saw the codes, she just went, can I take those and art render those for you? And at that point, what we did was we took those and we designed them around or upon Metatron's cube. Because what I was told was this is a technology, now a 12th dimensional technology, and it's all based on sacred geometry, and to use Metatron's cube with that. So Archangel Michael, Metatron, and some other guides, ascended masters, actually overlaid the system. And, at that point, it was funny when they even came in. I was arguing with Source. I was arguing with my guides, like, I just wanted a logo. What's this thing?
Oh, okay. So let me clarify this. So you're wanting a logo for this new business, the marketing, was it called the Marketing Source?
The Marketing Source.
Okay. And you're like, okay, I want a logo, and you're trying to channel it. And then all of a sudden you've got these 12 symbols, is what you called them back then, came into your
at that time it was 9.
Okay.
And what I found out later, David, is these are codes that I actually designed and worked with back in Atlantis. And so I'm just getting chills. So that's why it was key for them to come in, and they hadn't been back on the planet since the fall of Atlantis. And what was key about this is, and this is why the ceremony was key, was to protect them so that they couldn't be used for ill will or manipulated. But also that we were to take those and then up-level them because we're in a different era, right? We're in different dimensional frequencies now. And to take those and upgrade them. And so again, I'm kicking and screaming because I don't remember this initially, right? And I'm like, what the heck? What is this? Like, all I want to do is this Marketing Source. But here's what's so cool about this is, so as we're designing them, they gave me a template to create, and it's called the Universal Manifestation Template. And I put the logo. Eventually I did get a logo for this new company. I had someone else design it. I put the logo in the center of it. And within 6 weeks, everything about that company fell apart. There was no energetic support for that company. And what the guides kept on saying to me is, you're to market yourself, not others. You're to market this, not others. Mm-hmm. So this is when, I relaxed, and, I kind of kid around with my guides because I'm like, boy, you're dealing with a feisty one, because I always argue about things, or initially my reaction was no. But then, I would feel into it. I would have them give me more. And as I did that, it would just be like, oh yeah, okay, I see this. And because I also knew they knew more than I did. They knew the bigger picture, and I could only see this much.
Yeah. Okay. So at the time there were 9 codes. Now that there are 12, how
There's
does
13. There's
13,
13.
my apologies, the
That's okay.
Diamond co-creative system, how does this work and how can it help someone? Like, break it down like we're in kindergarten. We don't know anything about this. Tell us exactly how this thing works.
So because it's based on sacred geometry, we're sacred geometry too. The whole construct of the universe is sacred geometry, right? So this is where it makes it easy to use the system for healing and transformation, for creation and manifestation, and for expansion and evolution. And people do not need to know or have to learn the whole system for it to work. And the reason being is it has a divine self consciousness that will only take you to what is in your highest order and your infinite potential. And it can stretch you, that's for sure. But it will take you beyond what you currently know. It will show you the possibilities. It will give you I call them solutions that are really connected to your soul, to your higher self, to the divine, right? And what's cool about the system is you literally could activate the codes to help you go throughout the day, just in general. Like, this morning when I was doing my meditation, I activated the system, activated the codes to help clear and cleanse and calibrate my chakras and my energy bodies to the 5th dimension or higher, to my infinite potential. And so what happens is, how the guides are showing it, it's like you plug into a mainframe. You plug into now the mainframe of the divine and plug into what's yours, to your soul's essence. And the codes can simply help you throughout the day. They can help you with your healing process. They can help you expand. And what's amazing with the system is it accelerates the process. It will accelerate your awareness. It will accelerate your openness, accelerate your knowingness. And it really accelerates you connecting to yourself. Mm-hmm. And so what the clients have found, and me too, first of all, even though I was claircognizant and clairaudient, I didn't have the clairsentient, I didn't have the clairvoyant gifts. But as I utilized the system, that opened up those gifts. And of course, everyone's different. And it actually improved my gifts, my other gifts, my core gifts. But also it opened up who I am, what I'm here to do. It gives you access because remember, we are multidimensional beings. Mm-hmm. So it gives you access to more than what you just see here, your physical body and what's physically around you. Mm-hmm. And when you start developing a relationship with yourself, a connection with yourself and with your guides in the divine in a way that really help you through any kind of challenge that you're going through. Or if you're trying to create something and manifest something, it's so amazing how it makes it much more easier and powerful. Like you feel good about yourself. Clients feel more confident. They trust themselves. I have one gal that's she's in her 70s. She's starting her own new business. And she's so confident in what she's offering, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's like never too late for us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And to change in midstream or to go, I want to do this instead. The system helps people do that. Mm-hmm. And it helps you just get grounded, centered, and connected, which we need in these times.
Yeah, of course we do. Yes.
If you're not that, you're going to get really wobbly because of everything that's going on around us,
Yeah.
right?
So those who are watching via video, you can see the codes behind Amanda. There are these circles, and then that's laid out. Obviously, there's more than 13 there, but I think they're laid out in a different pattern. And then, of course, in the text version of our conversation, we'll embed the 13 codes so you can see them there, and of course, link over to your website so that people can dive deeper on them. But can you help us? Maybe you don't have to name all of them, but what are the diamond energy codes? And when you say work with them or activate them, does that mean doing that energetically? Does that mean looking at them? Does that mean putting them on your body? Like, how do you do that?
You can do it in all those ways. And let's go. I want to go back. So we had 9 original codes.
Yep.
In 2015, there was 4 more codes that came in.
Okay.
And they were brand new codes. They were called the cosmic energy codes. And because they brought in this higher dimensional piece to help us with these transitions we're going through right now. And, because we're in this Aquarian age, we're really being pushed to live and create and operate in the 5th dimension. And, so that ended up being 13 codes. So then from there, when COVID hit, I kept on asking the system, how can we help? What can we do to help? And immediately what they brought in was protocols, just like, how if you have a procedure done medically, whatever, it gives you a protocol to follow. Right. And the codes started combining themselves into 2. And now those are called the elevation codes. So we have the diamond energy codes, which are the single codes. We have the elevation codes, which when you put those together, it's more than 1 + 1 = 2. It's tenfold the energy. And then after that, they brought forward the ascension codes, which is what you see behind me. Mm-hmm. And that's a combination of 4 energy codes that create an ascension code. And then this whole configuration behind me is called the matrix of oneness. Now, each code has a name. The name itself will tell you what it does. So, for instance, we have an energy code that's called power, right? Mm-hmm. That's called compassion. That's called expression. That's called receive. That's called manifest. Called connection. In fact, the connection and the receive codes were the ones that I worked with personally for the first year. I didn't work with any of the other codes. I worked with those 2. Because I was so disconnected from myself and I wanted a deeper connection to myself and to source. And then I needed to open up and receiving, right? I was so used to the 3rd dimensional way of doing, pushing, making things happen, because I came from that corporate background and I came from that shoulds and the have tos and so on. So each of the code, you literally can pull it out. Well, in fact, it just had it in.
Can I jump in here and ask you a question? Yeah. You said you talked about the first year you worked with the connection and receive codes. So when you say worked with them, does that mean you're staring at them in meditation? You're touching them? You're drawing them? Help me understand what that means.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reeling me back in. So, for instance, this is the connection energy code.
And if you're not watching, you're just so you know, Amanda's holding that up. And maybe, would you mind just holding it up once again? I want to take a look at that. So if I were to describe that, now maybe you should describe it, because that you would know. Like, what would, if people are not watching, what would you say that this looks like?
So it looks like a chalice, right? Mm-hmm. And it also has, kind of a sun and then rays going out. Yeah. But then it comes down and then it's grounded. And there's different symbols within this as well. And what the connection energy code does, it helps you to connect to source and allow for information ideas to come in. This is like the receiving part of it.
Okay.
And then it also helps you to ground that
Okay.
as well as send it out into the universe.
Gotcha. Flowing both directions. So,
Exactly.
so when you say work with it, I'm not going to let you off the hook here because I
Yeah.
want to know how you do this. Like, how did you work with this connection and receive codes?
So I had them hanging up all over my house. I even put him under my bed. I put him under my meditation table. Back then, because I was so disconnected, I even built it out on my land with crystals and rocks, a
The symbol. Okay.
12-foot diameter of it.
Wow.
And what was so cool, I would just go and sit in it.
Hmm.
So, not that you're going to go and do that, but how I worked with it is I looked at it.
Hmm.
I would meditate with it. I would color it.
Hmm.
I would activate it and ask it to work with me throughout the day. And meaning work with these are the codes are holographic. So they will place themselves around you. They will also place themselves in whatever chakra or energy body that needs assistance. And so, even though, like, the connection energy code works with the crown chakra and your celestial body, it will also place itself wherever else it deems necessary to help you with connection. And this is that divine self consciousness. So, and when I would meditate with it, I would, look at it, I would gaze upon it, then close my eyes and just allow it to infuse within me. When I used it for healing, there's times when I would just lay it on me, and I used to do that with the when I was seeing people in person, I would lay the codes on them.
Hmm.
And now I just activate them like just like Reiki, you can activate them just out into the fields. You could activate them in your hands. I activate them in my hands and I'll use it on my pets,
Mm-hmm.
for different codes for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But again, so as right now, we just finished a 30-day Souls Journey. It's kind of like I wrote it back in 2014, dusted it off, and because it was time to get it back out there. And so I took a whole new group through it in August. Then we're going to repeat this in October as well. What was so cool about this 30-day Souls Journey is we asked people to pick a code a day, to meditate with it, to color it, to hang it up, and let the coach show them what they needed. And how we started out the journey was you set an intention and we put it in the manifestation template. Remember that thing that I
Okay,
said?
so tell us about that universal manifestation template. What is it and how does that work?
So the universal manifestation template it combines the first 9 energy codes. And it combines them in such a way, it makes a configuration that you place your intention upon it, either in the central diamond or around it, or you attach it, your intention to it. And what the universal manifestation template, because now you have 9 diamond energy codes assisting you with manifesting your intention. But what they will show you is if you're in vibrational alignment, they'll show you to keep moving in that direction, right?
Okay.
Energetically doing that. But if you're out of alignment or you're not in the vibrational alignment that you want to be in, then it will show you what's out of alignment.
Hmm.
So, a great example, let's say someone wants to increase their prosperity, increase
Okay.
their revenue flow. Um, but and this is great for business the manifestation template is great for any aspect of your life, including health, relationships, finances, business, and so on. But let me give you a couple examples. So,
Okay.
for instance, let's say you're in business, you're at $5,000 a month in revenue. You want to jump it up to 10 or maybe 20, or and you're looking at, I I want to increase my revenue. However, if you have a lack mentality or scarcity consciousness,
Mhm.
then it won't allow you to go there. Or maybe something's incongruent within you. I did this one time, and I put a number in, and all of a sudden my whole inner family, my inner feminine, masculine inner child, threw a fit because they're like, oh no, we won't have any time for ourselves. We're going to be too busy. It won't, this won't be fun. So I had to work with that part of me that was incongruent with that desire, right?
Mhm.
And so the manifestation template helps reveal that. And then, for instance, too, like let's say you have a new home you want to create. And I've used this so many times. And two great examples was, and I'll never forget, like I was married at that time. This was a few years ago. We needed to move because they had given away their house to their son. And at that point, we didn't have money in the bank. Our credit didn't look very good. It's like, how are we going to be able to do this, right? And I said, well, first of all, what's our vision? What do we want? So my ex and I wrote out a vision, right? And I said, okay, now our job is to vibrationally match this and have a prosperity consciousness around this.
Yep.
We don't know how we're going to get there,
Mhm.
but the universe does. David, what we manifested was one of the most beautiful homes that overlooked the San Francisco Bay, that it was incredible how it all came together. And, the first couple places, and this was a time when, there wasn't much inventory out there either. And then, you add in what we didn't have to offer. But in the manifestation template, we said the owners will accept who we are, accept our circumstances, accept our pets. At that time we had two kitty cats and a dog,
Mhm.
and but once we got into the home, then the other piece that I had to continually work on was my prosperity consciousness,
Hmm.
because I kept pinching myself. I'm like, this feels like we're on vacation, not in our home.
Right.
So it's about vibrational alignment, and I had to keep on increasing that. So I'm using the home as an example. I'm using the revenue as an example. But another piece is, people are looking for love and they're looking for a relationship, but they don't feel worthy of love. They don't
Mhm.
feel worthy of a relationship. Then they're going to keep on attracting that type of person instead of what the vibrational match is.
Right, right. Okay, so I know we're just touching the surface, just skimming the surface of the Diamond co-creative system and the Diamond energy codes. Um, can this be used alongside other modalities? There's so many things that people start working with: Reiki and breath work and meditation and this and that, and human design and Enneagram and right, tarot, astrology. How does the Diamond co-creative system work alongside those, or can it?
It can, and it works beautifully with it. And remember, it's a 12th dimensional technology. And what that means is it's about unity and oneness, right? Unity, consciousness, and oneness. And so if you're a Reiki practitioner or breath work or pranic healing, all you have to do is activate the codes with it. If you're in a meditation or a certain type of meditation, you activate the codes with it. What it's going to do is enhance it. It's going to elevate what you're doing. So it takes it to a whole nother level of experience and also of results.
Mm. Okay, beautiful. So I know also not only you work with people, if somebody comes to you one on one and says, well, maybe I should back up and ask this. Who are the types of people that come to you? What are the challenges that they're facing? And then how do you work with them using the Diamond Co-Creative System?
The challenges can be various. It could be personal, like they really don't know who they are. They don't know what's next. They feel like something's missing. And this can be someone that's already very successful,
Right.
right? They're already a leader or an emerging leader, but there's something more that they're looking for and just doesn't feel right, right? Um, and and the so that can be from a personal standpoint, it can be from a professional standpoint. I also work with clients who have cancer and other types of chronic illnesses. It can be relationships. I've had people that have come in, their marriage is falling apart, and they're just like not, or they're really lost in a relationship because they're super codependent in it. So it just depends who they are. But my ideal client is one that's willing to work,
Yeah.
willing to do the work,
Yes.
that is a seeker, that is a learner, that wants to grow, that wants to evolve.
Yeah.
And I have clients for years. And the reason being is not that they haven't gotten results, but they also see there's always more, right?
Right.
That they're evolving,
Yeah.
and so as they evolve to this level, then there's another level for them to go to. And there may be incongruencies, energetic misalignments. And again, that can be through conditioning and programming. It can be lineage encoding. It can be genetic encoding. It can be past life bleed throughs. So there may be a lot at play. And when I'm working with someone one-on-one, we unravel that. And, it's like peeling an onion. But what's good about this is it doesn't have to take months and years to get it done. When I say people are still working with me, it's again, they're going to a next level, but they're resolved on this. And, they're done with that old drama or that old trauma. So they're looking for what's the next piece, what's the next level.
I like how you describe basically there's the presenting issue, which you kind of described to all of them. People go through an existential crisis, a financial issue, a relationship issue, or a health issue. Those are kind of the four main ones. Rarely do people come to us and go, I'm having some spiritual challenges. And people don't usually come because of that, right? They come to the presenting issue, and then underneath that presenting issue, as you said, so many things. It could be DNA, it could be lineage, it could be,
Right.
so many different challenges. Yeah.
Well,
And
and I think this the side benefit of it all, like you said, they don't necessarily come for a spiritual issue, but what I'm always going to lead them back to is to connect at that spiritual level to themselves, to their soul, to their spirit guides, to the divine. And however they do that, I don't mean religion.
Sure,
I mean spirituality, like you're a spiritual being having a human experience. So it's getting back in touch with that. And most people, because of our conditioning and programming, aren't in touch with that. And they know it's there. That's what they're seeking.
Sure. So not only do you work with people in individual and group contexts utilizing this system, but you also accredit people to utilize the Diamond Co-Creative System in their own business and work. So like we talked about, they're a Reiki master, breathwork facilitator, meditation guide, sound healer, whatever it might be. You accredit people to be able to utilize this. What does that accreditation process look like? How long is it? What does it involve? How would they benefit from going through this process?
So first of all, what I love, if anyone comes to me and they want to be a steward, if you will, of the Diamond creative system and bring that into their own coaching, their own practice, and either do that individually or with groups, we accredit both levels. And what happens with level 1 is where it's a 9-month process. It's like birthing a baby. And the reason why it's a 9-month process is what we found when I took the first group through. Everyone, what you end up doing is you actually assimilate, integrate the codes, whether it's the single diamond energy codes, the elevation codes, the ascension codes, and the different templates we have. They're literally bringing it into their body, right?
They have to embody it first.
Yes. So they're embodying it. So it takes time to learn it, to understand it, and to really embody it. So level 1 takes 9 months, and that gives them the ability to then license the system and be able to utilize it with individuals. Level 2 is for those that want to use it in groups, that want to even teach it or create their own program using the codes. And that's a 3 to 4 month process to do that. So it's a year-long process. The other thing is that they have to go through the Evolve Your All 5th Dimension Mentorship Program at the Love Package level. And here's why. What I found in trying to do this years and years ago, if people did not do their own work and didn't heal and transform and have a emotional and spiritual maturity, then they're going to bring it into their business and they're going to really project it upon their clients. And so the reason why we have them go through the Evolve Your All program is to help their own personal growth and transformation, because that gives them the opportunity to learn 5th dimensional principles and how to really bring that into their personal life as well as their business. But they're also working with me one-on-one. And so they're doing a diamond evolution session with me each month. And the Evolve Your All is 2 series. They have to do both series. They're 5 months each. So people can do the series before, they can do it during, they can do it after. They won't receive their accreditation until they complete Evolve Your All. And this is to create the integrity, to have them be integrous within themselves, but also to have the integrity in how they utilize the system. And so I'm very picky about that.
And you're stewarding it.
They're stewarding it. And we have a couple of people that are, that went through the program, they've completed it, they're bringing it into their businesses, and they're doing fabulous by it. And what they say is that their clients have accelerated since they brought it into their business, into their practice. And so, when now as people come in, we're building this out right now. And then they also have the opportunity to become coaches and practitioners for us. So I only have a limited amount of space, right? So if we're doing a program like Evolve Your All, the coaching goes to one of the accredited coaches. Or if I'm overloaded or I've reached my max on the sessions, they go to an accredited practitioner, which is great because now they've got some built-in revenue, right? But also they have a built-in way of being of service.
Of course.
So we're helping them get out there and really, to do what they're here to do, because they'll know if they are to be accredited with the system as they, maybe they are introduced to the system in our Diamond Code Club or the 30-day Souls Journey, or maybe they have already done Evolve Your All. They'll know, or they'll be attracted to it, and they'll go, oh, this is something different. And what's unique right now for anyone that's getting on board now, you're one of few to be out there with it. So this is kind of the starting point
for on the ground floor. On the ground floor.
On the ground floor. And you could have a current business, or you could start your own new business with it. So, and I'm very much about helping those that have a calling to create a really prosperous and thriving business, but that they're being of service and impacting their clients in a positive way.
Of course.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up here, if someone is starting out this journey of healing and transformation in their life, maybe they are back where you were in the mid 90s where you're going, okay, I'm, having some challenges in relationships, trying to figure out my own purpose. What encouragement would you give them today?
Keep going. And here's why. I'll never forget when I was on this journey, because I was like, oh my God, this is really hard, because you're giving up old ways of being and old ways of doing, right? You're giving up what you know and what you're familiar with. And the egoic mind can really get in there and make, whatever you're doing wrong. It can argue both sides of the coin. And because it wants to keep you safe and secure, and it wants you to survive. But that's not what you're here to do. You're here to thrive, right? And so I remember going through in the initial stages when I was going to that healer every single week and going to workshops and just learning, right? What kept me going is I don't want to have to come back and do this again. I don't want to have to come back and deal with these issues again. Because here's the deal. If you have unresolved issues, if you don't complete certain things, guess what? You're an eternal being. So that soul growth did not happen. Guess what? You get to come back and do it again. And that's what kept me going. But it was like, I don't want to come back and do this again. Because listen, I was super steeped in codependency and in my issues. But it was like, no, I do not want to live like this. This is not fun. I'm not enjoying this. I don't have the relationships I want. I don't have the business I want. I have financial struggles. No, I just went, keep going, just keep going. And I had a healer say to me, remember, you're never going to be done. Now, I was really mad at her when she said that. And here's the key on that is you're never done because you're, again, an eternal being. You're always evolving, right? So you can have the majority, the mucky stuff, a lot of that done. So then when you reincarnate, what you come back in is more of a clean slate or a clean slate. And it just depends on what soul age too that you're in and what stage you're in. So,
Amanda, if someone wants to work with you to experience breakthrough, transformation, healing, manifestation in their life one-on-one, or they want to get accredited in the Diamond Co-Creative System, what's the best way for them to connect with you and follow you?
So, if you go on our website, co-createyoursuccess.com, and first of all, you can book a 20-minute free consult with me. It's called Create Your All Consult. And then also check it out. Start out with the Diamond Code Club. It's a nominal fee to come in, and but do that appointment or reach out to me on Facebook, on Instagram, and messenger me, that type of thing. Um, we're always available. We're accessible, and that's one of the things that my clients say. Like, you're always accessible, and they also know that they are loved. They're accepted. They're held in compassion and grace, no matter where they're at. Because I do not believe in us, you know, shaming or um, judging people. We start at a point and we're all moving and grooving and growing as best as we can, right?
Thank you so much, Amanda. All right. So the co-createyoursuccess.com and co-create your success on Instagram. And of course, we'll link to all of your social media. You can find that in the show notes if you're listening via audio, or it's on YouTube, and also in the text version of the conversation.
And one other thing that I would say, when you go on the website, look for the Manifest Your All free gift. That gives them the universal manifestation template. And it's right on the homepage, Manifest Your All. And that's a way to start the process and start getting to know the system. And I was guided to give the template away for free. And the reason being is the divine, the universe wants you to manifest your all, wants you to thrive, wants you to be prosperous. And this is a way that we can contribute as a company and through the system to do so.
I love that. Thank you so much, Amanda, for stewarding this amazing system and allowing it to be channeled through your life. And it's just great to be with you. And thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. So excited that we're going to be part of the Awaken Magazine family.